The WR3 alcohol interlock is equipped with a handset that is used for providing breath samples. It has a connector that leads to the internal components of the system. The handset requires mouthpieces that are available from your local service center. Connecting and disconnecting the handset. To connect the handset, align the green arrow on the handset connector with the green line on the vehicle connector. If aligned properly, the handset will connect easily with very little force. Do not try and force the connectors together if they are not properly aligned. This could result in damage to the connector, rendering you unable to use the system and leaving your vehicle immobilized. To disconnect the handset, hold the connector by the plug and gently pull backward. The locking mechanism that keeps your handset connected will disengage and the connector will slide out easily. Do not attempt to pull the connector out by the cord, as this can damage the connectors or the cable that could result in extra fees. Inserting the mouthpiece. When removing a new mouthpiece from its plastic bag, be sure to tear the bag by hand or cut it. Often, when the mouthpiece is removed from the plastic by pushing it through the bag, a small piece of plastic is caught inside the mouthpiece. When a breath sample is provided, the piece of plastic will become lodged inside the handset, which can cause a malfunction. This results in unscheduled service and applicable fees. The mouthpiece should insert into the top of the handset with ease. Providing a breath sample. Please note, do not turn the ignition on. You must provide a breath test first. Simply turning the ignition key can cause a key-off message on the handset display, resulting in a start violation and an immediate recall. After connecting the handset and inserting a mouthpiece, do not attempt a test until the unit has completed the power-up sequence. This may take up to 3 minutes in cold weather. The handset will display "Wait," and the status light will blink yellow. If the alcohol interlock is plugged in but has gone into sleep mode, turn the power on again by pressing the right button. Alternatively, you can move the key between the on and off positions. Wait until the display indicates "Ready for test" before attempting a breath test. The status light will turn green. You should not eat, drink, smoke, or use mouthwash for at least 15 minutes before taking a test. After eating, you should rinse your mouth with water to ensure there is no food left that could cause alcohol detection when you attempt the test. Blow for 3 seconds, then hum into the mouthpiece with sufficient and constant pressure to cause a tone to sound. Continue blowing and humming simultaneously for a total of approximately 5 seconds until the tone stops. A beep sounds and you feel a click in the handset. The display shows a "Wait" message for several seconds while the sample is analyzed. The breath sample will be aborted if you do not blow hard enough, long enough, blow too hard, hum too quietly, or too late. If the sample is aborted, the handset will display the reason for the aborted test, and the status light will turn red. After a few moments, the handset will display "Wait," followed by "Ready for test," once the handset is ready for another sample. The status light will flash yellow, then turn green respectively. The results of the breath sample will determine whether or not you can start the vehicle. If your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol below the warning level or no alcohol at all, the handset will simply indicate "Start motor," and the status light will turn green. Please note, not all jurisdictions have a warning level, and any amount of breath alcohol that is detected will prevent starting the motor. Please refer to your compliance guide if you are unsure if this applies to you. Depending on your jurisdiction, if your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol over the warning threshold, but not enough alcohol to fail the test, the handset will indicate "Caution, start motor," and the status light will turn yellow. If you are aware that your alcohol level is rising when you receive a caution, do not start the motor, as you are not likely to pass a retest and it may not be safe to drive. If your breath sample contains an amount of alcohol above the failure level, the handset will indicate a lockout message with a timer displaying the number of minutes you need to wait before attempting another test. The status light will turn red. If a consecutive fail result follows, the lockout time will be extended. Please note, in some jurisdictions, multiple failures are considered a program violation. Please refer to your compliance guide if you are unsure if this applies to you. Retesting. Successive retests are required at random times while the motor is running. The display will indicate retest. The status light will flash yellow and a double beep will sound. The first retest occurs within 20 to 30 minutes after starting the vehicle, depending on your jurisdiction. Subsequent retests occur at intervals of up to 45 to 60 minutes. In response to a retest request, carefully stop your vehicle at the side of the road and perform a successful breath test before you resume driving. The procedure for a retest is the same as for an initial test. Blow for 3 seconds, then hum while blowing with sufficient and constant pressure for a total of approximately 5 seconds until the tone ends. A beep sounds, and you hear a click in the handset. The display indicates wait. The result is indicated through a message, a light, and a tone. If a retest is not passed within 3 to 8 minutes of the request, the Interlock will log a missed retest condition. Missed retest will display, and the status light will flash yellow along with visual indication and the warning tones. If the test is not passed or the motor is not shut off and the right button pressed within an additional 2 to 3 minutes, the Interlock will record an extended missed retest. An extended missed retest can be considered a program violation, and the service reminder resets to 5 days, and the display indicates immediate recall 5. Along with the final date on which you can drive the vehicle before a permanent lockout. The exact number of minutes you have to perform the retest is dependent on your jurisdiction. Please refer to your compliance guide if you are uncertain. If a fail result occurs, the display will indicate pull over, turn off motor. The status light will flash red, a tone will sound, and you will have 3 minutes to pull over and shut off the motor. Failure to shut off the motor within a further 3-minute period triggers an immediate recall. The service reminder resets to 5 days, and the display indicates immediate recall 6, along with the final date on which you can drive the vehicle before a permanent lockout. Please note, do not press the right button without shutting off the motor. If you do this, the warning tone will sound. After shutting off the motor in response to the pull over, turn off motor message, press the right button on the handset. At this time, the Interlock will enter a lockout condition and the vehicle will be immobilized for 5 minutes. If a second fail result follows, the lockout period will be extended. Please note, a fail result following a retest request could be considered to be a program violation depending on your jurisdiction. Please refer to your compliance guide for more information. Restart feature. After you power the vehicle off, a stall protect timer starts, providing a 3-minute period during which you can restart the motor without a breath test. The message, "Restart available," is displayed during that period and the status light will flash green. Please note, if a retest request has been initiated, you should complete the retest before powering off. Sleep mode. The handset can be put into sleep mode manually or automatically when the ignition is off to conserve the battery. To put the handset into sleep mode manually, press and hold both buttons. Scheduled service. Regular inspection of the Interlock device and downloading of data is required as part of the Interlock program. 7 days before a scheduled service date and after every retest, the display indicates "Service due" and the date and time by which a routine service is required. This appears every time the interlock device is powered on, as well as for 3 minutes after the motor is shut off. If the vehicle has not been serviced by the service date, the display will indicate "Missed service" and the final date that you can drive the vehicle before a permanent lockout. 5 days after the due date for service, the interlock will enter a permanent lockout condition. A permanent lockout immobilizes your vehicle. If a permanent lockout occurs, you will be liable for towing the vehicle and pay for any applicable service charges. Your first scheduled service will be booked at the time the interlock is installed in your vehicle. Subsequent service dates will be booked each time you come back and have the unit serviced. If you need to reschedule an appointment, call at least 48 hours in advance. Any missed appointments that are not rescheduled will still incur a charge. Unscheduled service. If servicing is required between scheduled service appointments, call ahead to book an appointment and avoid permanent lockout condition. Service centers are not set up to handle drop-ins for service. Most unscheduled services incur a charge. As with scheduled service, call ahead if rescheduling is required, as a missed appointment will still incur a fee. Vehicle maintenance. Any maintenance performed on a vehicle that could cause the battery to be disconnected or cause a start violation will record a program violation. Remember to ask for a detailed invoice or receipt in order to prove that the mechanic worked on your vehicle. Contacting the service center prior to service is also recommended. Disconnecting the vehicle's battery for more than 15 minutes or 3 power-off events lasting 5 minutes or longer will trigger an early recall. Please refer to your compliance guide for more information. Battery boosting is not recommended. However, if you must boost the battery, you should first contact the Interlock service provider. Program violations. The terms for program violations vary by jurisdiction. Please refer to your compliance guide for details on what constitutes a violation in your area. Precautions. During the cold weather, a buildup of moisture can occur in the device from water vapor in the breath, and the unit can freeze if left in the cold overnight. This can cause a much longer warm-up time when the device is turned on, or invalid sample messages when attempting a breath sample. The handset should be taken indoors during cold weather to prevent this from occurring. Cellular phones and mobile radios produce high levels of radio frequency, or RF noise, which may cause the interlock to abort the test. Turn these devices off during a breath test. An RF signal is still produced if the phone is on. Also try to avoid close proximity to radio towers while attempting a breath sample. The handset should not be left in direct sunlight or in the glove compartment, as the excess heat can damage it. Avoid spraying any air fresheners, disinfectants, cologne, or perfume in the vehicle prior to a test, as these can also contain alcohol that can be detected by the interlock. If you have used any of these products, roll down the windows for a few minutes to ventilate the vehicle well. Be aware that if you carry spare washer fluid in your car, including in the trunk, the vapors from the washer fluid can travel through the ventilation system and cause the interlock to detect the presence of alcohol vapors. To avoid this, ventilate the vehicle well and let plenty of fresh air in. Pay attention to the messages that display a date with 11:59 as the time. They indicate that you have missed your scheduled service or have an unscheduled recall service, and if you do not return to a service center by the date and time displayed, the system will enter into permanent lockout. If your system enters permanent lockout, the vehicle must be towed and you will be liable for the expenses and service call. Please note, the interlock system will not shut off your vehicle during operation. Contact your service center or toll-free line whenever you require assistance.